fight. She tries to intervene, but Jersey stops her, explaining that something happened earlier. A while ago, the commander was expressing his gratitude to Nal for saving his daughter. He was glad to help, especially since Sanya was also contributing to village work. Commander Gash was taken aback upon hearing this, not expecting that her daughter was doing some labor. Enraged, he slammed the table, thinking that his daughter was being treated poorly. He told the hero to head out, urging him to bring his sword for a battle. Jersey tried to defend his friend, but the commander wasn't accepting any explanations and only wanted to sword fight. In the present, Gash praises Nal's skill and instructs him to strike the sword granted by His Majesty. Nal accepts the challenge, moves swiftly, and strikes the commander's sword into pieces. Seeing the shocked look on the man's face, he apologizes as he goes all out. In Nal's house, the laughter of the commander can be heard as he is pleased to meet a young man who can overwhelm him. He asks Nal why he is in such a remote place with his excellent abilities. The young man tells him that he just wants to live peacefully. The commander laughs, wanting to scout him into the order if given a chance. He then takes a bite of the food, and is surprised by how delicious it is, thinking that the vegetables are of superb quality. It's so delicious that it makes him think he's in the middle of a war. He continues to say that it's better than the food in the Imperial City, and he is already thinking of going back to the village just for the food. Just then, Sanya enters the dining area, bringing a plate of meat pie she prepared for her father. She tells his father that she learned it a long time ago, and even made one for his birthday, but he never came home, so she never had the chance to let him taste her cooking. Jersey tells her that his father has been going through a lot to protect their country, which the girl completely understands. She reiterates that her father has a job that's more important than their family. Nal intervenes, saying that protecting one's family and the country are both important, which makes Sanya think. As he devours his daughter's cooking, the commander apologizes to her for making her feel lonely. But now he will make it up to her, as he plans on staying with their family. This makes his daughter and even Jersey shocked. Gash reveals that he was told to hand over his duties to Gyudel, which he tried to delay as he was still not confident in the knight. Jersey opposes this, saying Gyudel is not competent to protect their country. The commander agrees, however he can't defy the king's orders. They then start to tell him the real story of Nal. After hearing everything, the commander can't believe the schemes behind the real hero. Well, it makes sense that Nal is the hero. After all, he broke his family's heirloom. However, if Gyudel is rotten as well, he can't make him his successor. Meanwhile, Sarah asks Sanya if Nal and her father are still talking. Sanya confirms, saying that her father seems to approve of Nal. However, she admits that she was worried at first, remembering how the two fought seriously earlier. Her father was the leader of the royal army, and she got scared that Nal got hurt. Sarah suddenly laughs, knowing that the hero even defeated a Hydra, so he can definitely take out the chivalric order. She assures Sarah that no one can injure a person who has defeated a Hydra. Meanwhile, Nal is showing the commander the field he has been cultivating, which makes the latter amazed as the village was a ghost town not long ago. He comments that everyone wants to live in the village because he is there. The hero admits that he just wants to create a sanctuary for everyone, a place that they can call home even if they feel lost. The commander admits he initially saw the hero's stay in a remote village as a waste, but upon learning his goal, he couldn't help but feel envious. So to help with his goal, he promises to do his part. Later, the commander is about to leave the village and tells his daughter that she's welcome to come home anytime. She also invites him to come to the village if he ever misses her food. He then turns to Nal to shake his hand too firmly, reminding him to care for his daughter. While riding their horses, the commander tells Jersey that Nal is such a kind man, to which the latter agrees, adding that he has never seen anyone as reliable as him. The villagers watch them leave while engaging in lively banter. In the castle, the Saintess Stella serves the Prince Cain tea, which he happily drinks. He updates her that the villa where they will be moving in is about to finish, which makes the Saintess excited. He notes that seeing her smile is worth the rush and praises her tea. Just then, Gyudel irritatingly barges into the room cursing someone. The prince questions why he is in a bad mood. The knight tells him that Commander Gash has postponed his succession again, accusing him of letting it happen because of his ex-fiancée. However, the prince denies this. The knight urges him to fire the commander, but the prince refuses as the old man is adored by many, and there will be pushback from the knights. Gyudel pressures the prince to find some other way to make the commander quit, but Stella stops him from being forceful. He turns to her, asking what he should do. She explains that Gash has a strong attachment to the chivalric order and treats it like his own family. However, if he has to choose between his real family and the knights, he'll undoubtedly pick the real one, as he also dotes on his only daughter. She wonders if he will continue his duties as commander if his daughter is put in danger. Later, a group of mercenaries watches over Nal's village. He orders his men to strike down anyone who gets in their way. The leader makes his way to the forest and is surprised by Jerz's. He then looks behind him and sees that his men are all down. Distracted, he is easily downed by Aina, who uses her battle magic. Jerz's is impressed, saying she is definitely part of the subjugation squad. Just then, Sarah arrives, bringing with her a bunch of unconscious mercenaries, which Nal takes down by himself. She informs him that the hero is in the goat shed, feeding their livestock. Meanwhile, Nal thanks Aqua for helping him notice the intruders. The Earth Goddess laughs, bragging that she's sensitive to malicious intent and can detect it from afar, basking in all the praise she is receiving. Back in the forest, Jerz's and Aina are looking at the unconscious mercenaries, planning to make them confess their motives. The knight volunteers to do it, and goes to the leader to force the truth out of him. He asks what brings them to their village, but the man refuses to talk. Aina volunteers to help, activating her electric shocks. The man recognizes her, asking why she is in this place. The magician is shocked, asking for his identity. The man is teary-eyed and touched that an esteemed person like her asks for his name. He continues to praise her noble deeds, saying she must have also been taken as a prisoner in the village. Aina is confused to hear this, as no one is being held captive in the village. As Sanya appears, the man comments that it's the commander's daughter. Now, the young woman is the one who's confused, as she voluntarily lives in the village. However, the man insists that she is being brainwashed. Sanya clarifies that even her father approves of her decision, which shocks the man. Inside the house, Nal urges the man to explain, as there seems to be a misunderstanding. The man explains that they receive an order to save Sanya from being captured, whose heartbreak is used to brainwash her, and to put her in isolation for a while. Nal wonders why the mastermind is after Sanya. Jerz's asks what they should do now that their location is exposed, and can be attacked at any time. The hero confidently tells him that no matter how many times, they will surely drive the intruders out. Hearing his confidence, the villagers are assured. Just then, an unknown duo enters the house, declaring that there is a more efficient way to eliminate their enemy. The two offer to help Nal eliminate the cause of his problems. Nal is surprised to see them and asks for their identities. The girl tells him they're not bad people and asks for some tea. Sanya prepares tea for the guests. The girl thanks her for it and keeps adding sugar to her drink, saying she likes it sweet. Seeing them settled, Jerz's asks for their names. The young man introduces himself as the third prince of the Schwer kingdom, Short Schwer. The knight is surprised to learn that they have the prince of a neighboring kingdom as a guest, and asks for his reason for visiting them. The prince tells them that he wants to meet Nal, the true hero who defeated the Demon King. The hero is shocked that he knows his secret, but the prince tells him it's a long story. First, he wants to tell Nal the plot behind the attack that just happened. Later, Nal is shocked that Udal is behind the attack again. The prince elaborates that if Commander Gash resigns, Udal will assume the position he desires. Jerz's is alarmed, as the army will be in turmoil when that happens. However, he is also skeptical about the prince's reason for revealing this, asking if he wants to deplete the resources of their country, which the prince denies. Prince Schwartz is known as the king's right-hand man and has a reputation for being scheming and shrewd, so Jerz's points out that it's not convincing that he only wants to meet Nal, and asks again for his real purpose. The girl intervenes, saying that it's reasonable for the knight to have suspicions, but she assures him that the prince doesn't have an evil motive, and is just glad to meet the real hero. Schwartz suddenly explodes, declaring successively that it's an honor to meet the hero who defeated the Demon King, but his honor was unfairly ripped away from him, emphasizing the royal kingdom's lack of shame. He continues to say things, but the girl stops him, saying that he's a zealot of Nal. However, unstoppable, the prince stands and declares that if Nal moves to their kingdom, he can make him a duke or knight as he pleases, adding that his great feats will be rewarded. Hearing this, Nal asks if he can guarantee his life as the hero if he moves to the kingdom. The prince assures him, pointing out that he doesn't have to live in a remote area anymore, feeding livestock. The villagers look alarmed, while Nal can't believe what he's hearing. However, he can't accept the offer, which surprises the prince. The hero explains that he doesn't care about the hero title, and cares more about the people living in the village who rely on him. Right now, all he needs is a peaceful life with them. The goddess and Sarah agree to this, saying that they wish to be with Nal in the village. The prince is about to disagree, but the girl stops him, saying it's her turn now to convince them. She apologizes for her late introduction and tells them she's the Holy Queen, Mirage, the ruler of the Holy Nation. Everyone is surprised, as she is the highest executive of the church. Nal asks her for her reason for visiting him. She reveals that it's related to protecting Sanya, saying she wants to conquer the Lavania kingdom. Everyone is surprised by her motive. She elaborates that her goal is to ruin the royal family by stealing the achievements and threatening the life of the hero chosen by the goddess. In their world, which worships the goddess, there's no greater sin than what the royal family did. Jerjes hesitates to go against the king. Mirage mentions that their people are suffering from the selfishness of the royal family. They increased the taxes for the construction of the luxurious villa and the grand wedding of the prince and the saintess. No one dares to oppose them because the prince is the hero. However, deep inside, the resentment of the people against the royal family is burning higher than ever. Moreover, there's nationwide crop failure happening, adding to the concerns of the citizens. They are fortunate in the village to have the earth goddess bless their land with a good harvest. Mirage states that the sacred oracle that the goddess conveyed was the peaceful life of the people, but the royal family has totally dismissed this and lost their right to rule over people. However, she can't act rashly because if the holy nation comes out in front, it would escalate into war. She asked Prince Schwartzy's help to settle things internally. The prince explains that they have been collecting information about the Lavania kingdom and have gathered allies along the way, including people inside the royal palace. Wrapping it up, Mirage wants Null to play a part in this revolution. The hero stays silent for a while, but after deliberating, he decides not to leave the place and to stay with his people. The two guests immediately implore him to think about it, pointing out that it's his chance to take revenge for the people who stole his achievements and pushed him to live a secluded life in the village. The prince pleads with him to think about it again, but the hero has already decided. He points out that his mind will not change, but having a meal together may help them understand him. He invites them to take a look around the village. Later, the two guests are having a feast of scrumptious meals prepared by Null using the harvest of the village. The Holy Queen can't help but devour everything, saying that he has the freshest ingredients out there. The hero urges her to eat more to her heart's content. The prince comments that it's good to have a lively meal and enjoy the company of other people. He also visited the grain depot earlier and saw the resources stored. The Holy Queen remarks that as the chosen hero, Null receives the blessings of the goddesses. While enjoying high-quality meat, Schwartz still can't believe he found it in a remote village. Null mentions that Sarah is the one who catches prey and supplies them with good quality meat. They turn their attention to the girl, asking why a demon is living with him. Null replies that she has nowhere to go, and so he asks her to help him rebuild the village. Mirage doubts that she sees her as an ally since he defeated the Demon King. However, the hero refuses to withhold help just because of this reason. Amused, the Holy Queen laughs, thinking that he is indeed a good man. Just then, Aina arrives, saying that the men who infiltrated them promise not to reveal any information about the village. Null thanks her, reassured by her words. The magician tells him it's not a big deal, noting that he seems to believe everything she says. While observing everyone, including the men who attacked them earlier, eating with them, the prince is slowly understanding the reason why Null can't leave the village. It's because the hero created a safe space and a welcoming home for everyone. The Holy Queen agrees with this, adding that no matter where one searches in the world, they will probably not find another place like their village. Moreover, Null has a strong will to build his own homeland because he was betrayed by the kingdom. However, as long as he is the hero, he can't help but pay attention to the current situation in the kingdom. Meanwhile, when it's just the two of them, Sarah tells Null that she wants to stay by his side if he decides to fight for his rightful place. However, Null assures her that he doesn't want to take part in the revolution, but he wants to have her by his side in protecting their village, to which the demon wholeheartedly agrees. The next morning, Jerjes is about to leave the village, confirming that the prince and the Holy Queen have both gone back. Null confirms this and tells him that they're going to push through with the revolution once they have returned. This makes Jerjes worry as part of the night order. He also notices that the men who attacked them had left early, not wanting to be seen. Sanya asks him if her father will fight against the Holy Queen. However, Jerjes doubts this, noting that after the attack targeting her, the commander will give up his position. He points out that Gash will not lose his patriotism, but will likely question if the king deserves his loyalty. Null and Sanya watch as Jerjes leaves the village. The girl then asks him what's going to happen to their kingdom. Null assures her that no matter what happens, they'll stay the same and rebuild the village together. Sanya falls silent for a while, thinking that even if the hero doesn't change, everything around him will. She stops herself from thinking too much and tells Null they should start cleaning the dishes. At Sanya's villa, Null is selling his crops to a merchant. The merchant expresses his gratitude, saying that due to the recent crop failure, it's hard to get quality products. Just then, Null remembers to sell something else as well. Later, an injured pig comes running in their direction, much to the merchant's shock. He panics in fear just as another arrow shoots at the pig's body, leaving it lifeless. Sura appears, explaining that she chased the pig all the way to the villa to save herself from carrying it. The merchant is shaken up, but agrees with her and pays in a whopping amount of money for the trade. Back in the house, the villagers are amazed by the profits earned from selling vegetables and livestock. Aqua excitedly suggests that they should buy snacks from the sales, but Nal plans to buy seeds for their new crops, making her disappointed. The hero tells everyone that they have to increase their income as their population grows. Later, Aqua learns about Hailumken, a wild plant that can be sold at a high price and seemed to have been harvested in their area before. Hearing this, the goddess is determined to find one so she can buy her stash of sweets. Dismissing her, Nal tries to remember if he missed seeing the plant while searching the village before. Just then, Sura appears and requests to talk with Nal. She tells him that there's a place she knows that they can search up in the mountains. She brings Nal and Aina along with her and shows them around the area. The magician detects poisonous miasma that seems to be coming from the underground and informs them that they have to do something about it first. She then proceeds to purify the area with her magic, protecting them against the poisonous air for the whole day. After the poisonous land, a magical place unfolded before them. Upon noticing the glowing plant from a distance, Sara quickly retrieves it, causing the glow to fade. Since it's not glowing anymore, the plant's taste is expected to degrade. Nal then turns to Aina, seeking her assistance, and the magician promptly uses her time freeze magic to restore the plant to its original state. Aina freezes the rest of the plants to keep them fresh until the morning. The group searches for more glowing plants around them, working hand in hand in harvesting and using magic to keep their quality. Later, Aina finally runs out of her mana from using her magic to freeze the plants. Nal checks on her and tells her to rest a bit, offering to bring her water to drink. While they're alone, Sara thanks Aina for her help in reaching their goal, but the magician tells her that Nal can use the same spells. The magician expresses that he has been handling everything alone during the subjugation of the Demon King and feels like he doesn't even need her. Sara empathizes with her, mentioning that she felt the earlier hunting could have been easily done by Nal alone, but he refrained from doing so. Aina interprets it as Nal's way of showing them trust by entrusting roles. Sara shares that she can't believe that the hero rejected the Holy Queen's offer and thought that he would accept it for everyone's sake. Does that mean he believes the Holy Queen and others can save the kingdom by themselves? Aina sighs, not fully grasping Nal's intentions. Perhaps he merely wants to safeguard the people who pledged to fight alongside him. Remembering her words earlier, Sara blushes profusely. Just then, Nal comes back with the water and notices the demon's bright red face, which blushes even more upon seeing him. Later, Sanya cooked the plant that Nal and others had harvested. They are surprised by how delicious the meal is, and the hero wishes he could grow them in his field. However, Sanya heard from the merchant that it is impossible unless they have access to clean spring water. Hearing this, Nal entrusted their problem to Aqua, who easily sprouted a Hailumken plant. Jerzes informs Nal that he is going to join the revolution. He was convinced, as Commander Gash was going to join as well. Nal asks how the old man changed his mind. The knight tells him that the commander was hesitant at first because of Sanya's safety, but Prince Schwartz persuaded him that his daughter was safe with the hero. He then reports that the church is already on their side, while the court's decision remains a mystery. Nal asks Aina's help in fishing out some information, to which the magician agrees. Although she has no obligation to join the revolution, she can't help but feel upset seeing injustice towards Nal, so she will try to help. However, Nal reminds her that he doesn't care about the revolution, and he needs her in the village, so she must come back. Aina blushes upon hearing this and swears to come back alive. After seeing her off, Nal prepares to harvest some Hailumkens to give to the Coop army as provisions to help their fatigue. Moreover, the vegetables and hunted prey were all given to Jerzes, and they made a profit of around 10,000 gold. The villagers remind him that they bought a lot of farming tools, seeds, and kitchen wares, and that their money is depleting. The hero thinks that it's great to have an accountant around to monitor their expenses. However, none of them knows an accountant or has met someone good with numbers. Just then, out of nowhere, a girl arrives and declares that she's good with numbers. She introduces herself as Lilia Schweer and is told by her brother to help in the village. Nal realizes that she must be the younger sister of Prince Schwartz. He appreciates her help but is shocked to be assisted by a princess. The princess tells him that upon his brother's orders she should come to their aid, as she is the most trusted person of her brother. She informs him that she is an expert when it comes to budgeting and taxation, so he can entrust everything money related to her. Later, Nal and Lily check the village's unaccounted balance. Although the situation is tough, the princess assures him that she can complete it in an hour, and requests another job after that. The hero refuses, saying that she doesn't have to push herself too much and won't force her to work, so she must take her time. Later, Nal checks on the princess and sees that she's taking a nap. He comments that it must be tiresome for her and is surprised to see that she is already done. Just then, Lilia wakes up, saying that she's done with the task from a while ago. She then puts all the accounting books in front of him, noting that all the receipts are summarized there. Moreover, she has already prepared the actual selling price of their harvest and their sales forecast for the future. She also discusses with him the difference in prices and how much he can sell them for even if there's a famine. She notes that the products are so high quality that even her brother can't stop praising them, so they can expect profits. Additionally, she ensures him that their income will continue to soar high if he makes her the official accountant. Amazed, Nal looks at the accounting books before him, thinking that it should be a kind of magic he doesn't know. Meanwhile, Commander Gash is standing before his followers, his uncertainty palpable about the nearing coup d'etat. Sarah and Sanya are enjoying bathing in a hot spring. As they relax, they talk about how grateful they are to Nal and Aqua for creating the hot spring. Just then, the goddess and the princess join them in a relaxing bath. Amazed by how wonderful and splendid the water is, the goddess comments that the water is good for the health, and the skin as well. This makes Lilia think that it could be a good tourist attraction, but Sanya doubts it as they are in a remote area. The princess assures her that it could be a possibility. She then offers to scrub Aqua's back. When the two are busy with each other, Sanya approaches Sarah and asks her what she thinks about Lilia. The demon replies that the princess has a rare talent and is helpful as an accountant. However, Sanya admits that she overheard Nal and Jers's conversation the other day. The knight tells the hero that he doesn't understand why Schwartz deliberately wants to stage an explosion inside a neighboring kingdom. The knight suspects that Schwartz assumes that Nal will help them when things get out of hand. It's not strange for the prince to be vigilant, especially now that he knows how to play politics and war. Jerzes then hands Nal a book with Prince Cain and Stella on the cover. He explains that it is published for the world to know how great Cain is, and everyone is obligated to buy it. The royal family had to publish it because everyone knows that Cain is a weak warrior. Few people believe the story that the prince was able to defeat the Demon King in his clever ways. But after all, the name of the hero in the book is a hoax, and they're not sure if the other kingdoms are aware of it. Back in the hot spring, Sarah contemplates the conversation and wonders if Lilia has an ulterior motive in arriving at their village upon her brother's request. Nonetheless, whatever Nal chooses to do, she swears to follow him. Sanya worries that Nal and Lilia will go shopping together. Sarah assures her that he can fight for himself, no matter who he is up against. However, still uneasy, Sanya decides to come with them, thinking that it's not good to leave the two alone. Sarah tries to reason with her, but she doesn't listen. Later, Sanya is exploring the markets with Lilia. The princess brags that she has already researched all the prices in the area, which will lead her to the cheapest stores. Just then, they are stopped by a group of thugs demanding a toll for crossing their area. Lilia asks for the price and can't believe that it's 110 gold coins. The princess chastises him for overpricing and tells him the price is too high, even considering inflation. The man accepts no discounts and offers to accept her body as a payment instead. She tells him they would shout for help, and the man just scoffs, saying no one would come to their place. Hearing this, she pushes Sanya forward, counting on her to scream out loud. The girl screams for help, and the man just laughs at her futile effort. However, Nal suddenly appears, and has taken down the other men in an instant. At a park, Lilia is gushing after witnessing Nal fight. She can imagine the envious face of his brother, who is a zealot for the hero. He tells her it is nothing, to which she agrees, as it must be a child's play for him. Just then, a messenger pigeon from Schwartz appears. The princess excuses herself to read her brother's message. When it is just the two of them, Nal hands Sanya a drink. She asks how he knew they were having trouble earlier. He tells her that he is close to her because he is worried about her. She then admits that she overheard his conversation with Jerzes. However, he assures her that Lilia is an ally of theirs and there's no need for her to worry. Sanya comments that he trusts people easily, despite the fact that the kingdom betrayed him and even accepted a demon like Sarah. She wonders how to be so trusting like him. She shares that since her engagement with the prince was called off, she has struggled to trust people again. Nal points out that they share the same pain of betrayal, and their bond is formed through this. He trusts the future of their village and all the relationships he has formed with the villagers. That's why he hopes that Sanya can trust him and everyone in the village with courage. Teary-eyed at what he said, she asks why he cares so much about her. He tells her that as the coup d'etat is approaching, she might be targeted as the family of the commander. In that case, he assigns Sarah to protect her all the time. Sanya tells him she had no idea and apologizes for troubling him. Nal is glad to hear she doesn't realize their actions, indicating that he and Sarah did a great job. She expresses her gratitude once again, and she blushes as she realizes that he cares about her. Just then, Lilia arrives and reports that the Coop army has just lost the war. The knights are shaking in fear before Gyudel, who all start to retreat as he's too strong to go against. The knight grins, declaring that they will send them to the deepest parts of hell for opposing him. Back in the village, Lilia assures Sanya that her father is unscathed, making sure the coup d'etat hasn't completely failed. Sanya sighs a breath of relief, knowing that her father is safe. Sarah asks how the coup army was defeated. Lilia reveals that they underestimated the strength of Gyudel, who successfully broke through the strategies of her brother. The knight was overshadowed by Nal, but they can't deny that he is a truly skilled warrior. She then mentions that Schwartz has a request for Nal. The hero guesses that he's been invited to join the war, but the princess denies this, saying that her brother just wants vegetables delivered personally by Nal. Hearing this, the former agrees, and since it's close to the battlefield, he deems it only reasonable for him to deliver it. The princess then points out the route he has to take for a detour. Meanwhile, at the enemy's camp, Kane and Stella pay Gyudel a visit, commending him for his victory. The prince notices his sour mood, even though he has won the battle. Annoyed, the knight tells him that he should discipline his court mages who have not shown up. If the mages had only participated in the recent battle, they could have had their victory parade in the capital now. The prince assures him that he will make the mages show up to participate in the next battle. Gyudel points out that, as a prince, he should show dignity as a member of the royal family and be present during the battle. However, Kane fully entrusted him with the job, saying he could overpower the rebellious forces on his own. He then tells him that the king is impressed by his abilities, and so he awards him a sword for his bravery. Gyudel touches the heirloom sword of the royal family, which is said to have sacrificed its wielder's life to seal away the devil god. He doubts if it is good to wield it, since the evil god will be reborn if it is stained with blood. The saintess urges him to do it, as it will give him more power to be the hero this time. Convinced, Gyudel menacingly smiles and declares that he will finish everyone who tries to stop him. Meanwhile, in their camp, Jerzes receives a report that the mages are finally on the move. He points out that the mages are in the right area of their camp, while the knights led by Gyudel are on the left, putting them in danger. The commander falls silently, looking at the map as Jerzes looks for Schwartz, who hasn't revealed his next strategy yet. A knight reports that Schwartz went out patrolling and hasn't come back yet, much to their shock. Overwhelmed, Jerzes suspects that Schwartz plans to backstab them and take advantage of the situation for his own kingdom. Meanwhile, Gyudel's forces are riding to their enemy's camp when one of the knights reports that a wagon is blocking their way. In disbelief at wasting their time, Gyudel orders his knights to get rid of the wagon. Annoyed, he goes to check on it himself and sees a man riding a wagon. He lashes out at the man and is shocked to see that it is Nal, who is very much alive. Confused, he asks how he is alive and where he has been. The hero mentions that a lot has happened, but right now, he's just selling some crops. Gyudel wonders if he knows that they have betrayed him and made the prince the hero. He then offers to buy the vegetables and pay him double, so he can go home quickly. However, Nal refuses, as he can't take back the agreement he made. This makes the knight annoyed, thinking that the hero is arrogant for a farmer. He offers to buy the goods tenfold to just get rid of Nal, but the latter still refuses. Instead, he wants something other than money. Gyudel agrees and asks what he wants. The hero points out that it's precious for him, but it would be a good souvenir for the commander. Hearing Gashi's name, the knight suspects that he is an ally of their enemies. Nal then smiles at him, saying that it's time for him to return it. The knight is taken aback, thinking that the hero wants his head for his betrayal. He overanalyzes Nal as he is hard to read, noting that he must want to fight him. He anticipates the hero's attack, thinking that the man must be planning his moves. He admits that he doesn't stand a chance against Nal, and decides to flee with
No, listen, Monel gave me $5 and just told me stand by the door and holler if someone came. But this ain't even fair. I ain't even do nothing.
You stood lookout while 2 8th-grade boys raped an 8th-grade girl.
But she wanted to.
That's not what Tiffany says. There'll be an investigation. You'll be suspended. You could very well be expelled. Maybe even face criminal charges.
Miss Donnelly, please don't. Miss Donnelly, please don't call my foster mother. I'll tell you everything I know about this.
I know all about it already.
No, but I know some other stuff. Like who been thieving from the teacher's lounge, or attacking gym lockers, or
Miss,
even...
Jeffries, please.
Miss Donnelly,
this is Mrs. Donnelly calling from Tillman Middle.
Listen, I know. Remember the boy who cut Mr. Philmont's tires? I know who did that. I know about a murder. I do.
We've identified certain students we feel will benefit from the special curriculum and the smaller class size. We've chosen 10 students from the 8th grade to participate in this program.
You get chose, you gotta go?
That's right.
What if they don't wanna?
It's mandatory. We feel that this program will benefit everyone. You'll get the attention you need.
We out of everybody else shit. My bad. I ain't mean to curse.
Yeah, but you're right, though. This class get towed up, it's only on y'all.
So we get put out of class.
This is a classroom too. And every one of you has proven time and again that you're not ready for a regular classroom. But this is a new program that if you work it, is going to make you ready.
Ready for Gen Pop. This is prison, yo. And we in solitary and shit.
Word.
Solitary. That's good, son. This is solitary. This is a hole up in here.
He's a good kid. He really is. And once you make that call, his name's gonna be in the system.
What can I do? He says he knows about a murder. I have to notify police on this.
At least let me call someone I trust.
That's him right there.
Stand by. You don't want to be in on the collar?
No. If you take it, he'll think it's a straight interdiction, and I get to surprise him at the bail review.
Sister, help you with your bag?
No, thank you.
Don't be afraid.
Why should I be afraid? Who are you?
Just walk through the door.
My husband is waiting outside.
I'd like to meet him. I'll wait with you to make sure you're safe.
That really won't be necessary.
Amtrak police, sir. Excuse me. Could you step over here, please?
Give me the bag.
What is going on? I don't know this man. Where are you taking me?
What did you see about it?
Nothing much.
Drugs?
I didn't question him too close.
Murder. I should take it downtown.
Who knows what he really knows? I just